Hi everyone. For today's episode, we have Elsie. Hi Elsie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's late on my end, so just chilling, enjoying a good cup of boba.
Boba, what's your favorite?
I have chaji with
Oh,
me right
Chaji.
now. Yes, I have a warm cup. I normally drink iced ones, but this one I love it warm. It's so yummy.
What's your what's your favorite Chaji then?
I have the peach oolong tea latte. I don't actually normally like fruity things, but this is really good.
Yeah, it seems that there's a lot of Chaji places around the world right now.
Oh my gosh. This is the first time the one opened up recently near us. Not recently, maybe like a year ago actually. But I've tried it for the first time recently and it's so good. So, yeah, just chilling, vibing.
So are you a Chaji fan recently?
Um, yes, I would say so. Um, it's been good. It's been good. I think for me, I think okay, I got sick recently
Oh,
and I really needed a warm drink. So I ended up getting a warm one because I didn't actually like it that much iced, but then when I got the warm one, I was like, "Oh, this is really life-changing."
yep. Yeah, it's okay. I teach in the art school and below us there's a Chaji, so I see a lot of students buying
What?
Chaji. Yeah, it's like a
You guys are
Chaji
so lucky.
dominance. Yeah.
No, I have to go so far. I mean, not that far, but like decently far, where it would be like a whole trip, especially if there's traffic in LA. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So can you introduce yourself and tell us what sparked your passion for drawing?
Yeah, of course. So my name's Alsie. I am 26 years old this year. I've been at Riot for maybe 3 years, and then before that, I contracted for West Studios. I did about like three splashes with them in the span of like maybe a year and a month or so. And then before that, as a student at Sheridan for animation, and I did the internship at Riot for Wild Rift marketing. Sorry, this is a mouthful, but
Yeah, it's okay.
and
It's
then
okay. Just be yourself.
that was like in 2021. And yeah, that's me.
So, what sparked your passion for drawing?
Oh, right. Um, I think for me, I mean, I've always done art as a kid. I mean, I studied it like super young, and I feel like I've been drawing ever since I could hold a pencil. But I think what really drew me to art was when I started looking into art more, especially when I started playing games or watching anime, I would kind of like go on the wiki page and like look at the artists that did the work because I was just genuinely curious. And it's so nice to like look at people's, I mean, portfolios or like life's work in a way. And it was so representative of who they are and like the challenges that they went through to become who they are and how it's like just an expression of everything that they've experienced. And I feel like, for me at least, I feel like I really wanted to choose something that felt meaningful to me. And that aspect of art, the self expression and the constant challenges, and just the overall journey that I saw my art heroes go through was very like exciting to me. It was exciting in a way where I was like, yeah, I wouldn't really care if I like failed in art or if I it took me like forever to get good at art. It just felt like every challenge or obstacle or perceived failure would be worthwhile, I guess. It would make me a better person or a more well-rounded person. So, that's kind
Yeah,
of why I was super
the
interested.
evolution of the main character. Challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think watching a lot of media inspired my like character as well. Like seeing everybody, like seeing my favorite characters go through like their downfalls, and like your true character comes out when you're tested. So if you're never tested in life, like, do you really know who you are, essentially? So I think that was like a mindset I had when I was really young. and that's something that like pushed me towards doing art, and that's why I find it interesting, I guess.
Yeah, the training arc.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
So, is there anything that you really like drawing when you were young that continued to spark this interest?
Ooh, good question. I mean, I think I've always had like a interest in different things. Like I would make, I don't know if you know what like scratch games are. It's like there was this program a long time ago where it's like coding for kids, and I used to do that. I used to like download this app, and I would like it would, like make it made like coding blocks, and you like stick them together, and I would draw like walk animations, like little like doodles of walk animation, and try to like make my own game. And I think the idea of like creating something immersive was really interesting to me. Like I would make books for my brother, or like Pokemon cards for my brother. I'd make like board games for my friends. I think for me it was like art has always been something that creates experiences for other people, and it's like it evokes like emotion, whether it's like competitiveness or like immersive storytelling or whatever, or even if it's like drawing a hippo and somebody being like, is that a hippo? I'd be like so proud of myself, because I'd be like, yes, no more people saying my hippos look like dogs. This is awesome. So I think like every time I reach like a new level of like connection, or like I guess like learning something new, it always like filled me with an indescribable amount of joy, and it was just awesome trying to like see how art can take form, I guess, in my childhood. So yeah.
Wow, game designer here.
No, not anymore, not anymore. I used to want to.
Yeah, I was showing the viewers on the screen. Wait, oh yeah, you can't see my screen yet. Let me share my screen.
Oh yeah.
Entire screen. Okay. Yeah. So you can at least share. I mean, you can at least see what I'm sharing with the viewers.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
this is scratch programming. Okay.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it in so long. This is so funny. Yeah, exactly this. I would like draw things and then import it into like this program and try to like code my own dude. I mean, you're stuck with this cat most of the time, so you can't draw that much. But yeah, you mostly draw its background.
Yeah. So I also noticed that you do a lot of anime art back when you were like starting out your Instagram. So did animes started your passion for drawing as well?
Oh, not really. Let me think about that. I think that there was definitely a phase where I didn't think anime was very cool, especially when I was like before 14. Like when I was like before the age of 14, I was like playing a lot of League of Legends. So League was actually the first art thing that I really enjoyed, and book covers actually. Like some fantasy book covers were like so nicely painted. I remember like Charlie Bowater and obviously Jason Chan. I loved their book covers as a kid, and then learning that Jason Chan did League Splash, that was crazy. I kind of pivoted more towards anime art. Mostly well, first I started watching anime and I thought it was so cool, but also I think that there was kind of like a graphicness to anime that I really like the way that hair is designed is it's like more expressive, I find, than like I would argue League style, because with League there is some semblance of like realism where there's certain rules you follow, and there's a certain like lighting or rendering style that you need to be, and like just I don't know, rules of realism, I guess. And I feel like for anime art, I love like Rella or Ask. Is that
Us?
the
Oh,
artist?
the Chinese artist? I'm guessing Us is
Yes,
the Chinese
oh my
artist.
gosh, I used to study their work so much. I remember there were summers where I would like spend like almost months like just copying their art essentially in my sketchbook, like trying to, I think I was like probably like 15. Like in the entire summer of like 15, I remember Ask, Rella, I think
Rella?
Nino.
How do you spell Rella?
Rella, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah. I
right.
remember like loving their work so much, and I think that's kind of what I liked about it. It was very expressive. It expressed a certain level of like somberness that I feel like League art didn't. I was an angsty teen, so
Yeah, we
I
were
think that
once angsty teens.
yeah. I mean, League art, I think the expression is always like anger, or like for women, I feel like it's like a very there's rarely very like soft expressions for League art. So I guess at the time when I was 15, I didn't really like resonate with a lot of the characters as much, or I didn't really feel a strong desire to like draw like that. So I really like connected with anime art a bit more because I feel like there was a lot of nuance in the things you can do with the medium. Um, yeah. Sorry, is that the end of the
Nice.
question?
It's okay. Like so we learned that you are inspired from Ask, Rilla. Who's the third artist?
Nino, I don't know if they post.
Nino.
I
Is
think they used to. I think there might be a E after the second N.
right. Can't spell. Oops. Need. Is it this
Oh, maybe
artist?
not. I think
Right.
they have a Twitter. Oh,
X platform.
we'll never find them. Oh, there. I think they used to have a lot more work on Pixiv.
Right.
I would go on Pixiv a lot and I would save like stuff onto a folder, and then I'd spend the entire summer like copying anime artists to try to like understand their shape language and just the way they design like poses and expressions. It was really cool. So, yeah.
Okay. At least the viewers learn something. Right. Shape language, expressions.
Yeah, for sure. Like nuance and expression, I feel like is something anime does well. Like not every expression is like a strong anger. Like not every anger is like grr, I want to slash something. Like some anger is like repressed, some anger is like sad. You know, like there's levels to it, and I feel like being able to capture that has been a dream of mine. It's hard. It's definitely hard because some things are like not within what league what like I guess league players expect. So it's always about like managing that expectation, but being able to like find ways to push the craft a bit more, or like I guess the possibilities of the craft.
Alright. So from my understanding is when you started art at a very young age, then your formal trainings include Sheridan, and then after that you work for West Studios, then you intern for Riot, and then you go to Riot full time. What about during high school? Like, did you take any art courses, or were you mostly like self-taught? Like, you spend a lot of time observing, like how you have been doing so for the anime artists.
Maybe, I mean, it's definitely a mix of both. I mean, I took art when I was like very little, like maybe the age of 6. I started taking art outside of school, and I did that up until college. I think one of like something that was a little life-changing that happened before high school was I had this like really cool art teacher. I mean, he was my homeroom teacher, but he loved to teach art, but he was also a football coach.
Okay.
So it was really crazy because he was artist guy, but also a football coach. And I think what was awesome about him was, I mean, I don't know if it's like the same where you are, but there's like a huge emphasis on how teachers treat like athletes or kids who do like sports clubs, I guess.
Okay.
Like, for example, if they're going on a tournament, they'll get extra time. Like they'll have time off from school or assignments, or like maybe they'll be like pardoned from assignments to go to like these sporting events. And I think what was super nice about my art teacher is he had a very similar respect for art that he did for sports. So I guess for art, like I don't know how to describe it. There's so much that happened. There was these murals that we had to paint,
Yeah.
like a lot of them throughout the year, and I think I don't know if this was allowed, but I think there was me and several other students in my class that he thought like had potential in art, and essentially he just gave us like a pass on our schoolwork, like math, English, whatever, and we were doing pretty well, so it wasn't like that bad. But he would kind of be like, okay, like take your time, focus on your craft, like learn to paint. Like if you want to paint this mural however you want, like paint it however you want. So I basically spent my entire like eighth grade, which is like maybe 13, like 12 or 13,
Yeah.
painting murals like with acrylics and whatever, whatever like art project needed to be done around the school, like we would do that instead of going to classes. I remember we had this one final project for art class that was essentially like, oh, copy like a old, like copy like a masterworks copy. I don't know how to describe it. Like you just copy a nice piece of art essentially, but you could do like whatever copy. If you want to do like a movie screenshot, you could do a movie screenshot. Or if you want to do like some graphic design, you could do graphic design. Whatever it is, you paint the same thing. And he gave me and like my other classmate who was like also amazing at art a huge extension. An extension as in like it was supposed to be due at the end of the year, but instead he was like, you can submit it at the start of next year. And by the way, next year meant that we were in high school and we no longer went to that school. He was like, okay, we'll just give you an automatic grade and you can do whatever, like just challenge yourself, see where your art can take you. So I spent that entire summer, like I would wake up super early and sleep super late, and I would paint Jason Chan's like Ribbon. So I did like basically the loading screen crop of it, and it was like maybe like a meter
Yep.
canvas. And I just painted that for the whole summer and returned it after the summer, and that was great. That was really cool. So I think that definitely taught me like patience. And I think with art also, you don't know how far you can push yourself until you're given permission to. Like for me, I would have never tried to do that in a whole summer. I would have never even like thought to do that or apply myself in that way. But yeah, like I think my art teacher from grade 8 really made a difference, I guess, in how I perceived art or what I thought was possible. And that was super nice. I think after that, like high school, my experience was pretty normal. I was super into like anime art, and I posted a lot of that on Instagram, and that was super fun. But aside from that, I was also doing art like outside of school and also for high school and yeah, and other things in personal studies. Um, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, it's really an interesting life. At least you have someone that makes a huge difference in your art journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really thankful. That was actually really crazy. It's crazy to like think about also.
So what about your life at Sheridan? What modules or classes did Sheridan help you become a better splash artist?
Um, Let me think about that. I don't necessarily know if there's like a direct correlation between the things that I did at Sheridan and what I do at Riot. I think it definitely helps like my I guess at Sheridan, like when you do a lot of animation, you focus a lot on line art.
Yeah.
And also like when you're doing animation, when you're coloring or like doing the shadows for the animation, you have to draw the line art first and then fill in the shadows where it is. So it's a lot of like visualization, I think, which makes it easier for me to do like I do a lot of like lasso tool painting, and I think I realize why it's so easy for me is because like maybe in animation you just have to do that so much, like visualize the shadow before actually seeing it. So yeah, I think that was maybe something that helped. But I think in all honesty, I went into animation because it was essentially like a boot camp for art. It's just a lot of like drawing a lot of drawing, a lot of like life drawing, a lot of fundamentals. And I mean, the goal is always to like be the best artist you can be. And I felt like animation was definitely something that I felt like would help my career or help my skill level. So that's kind of why I took it. But a lot of the things I learned for Splash were like things that I have to like specifically apply. Like when I go to class, I have to be like, okay, how can this help Splash? How can this help me make my portfolio? What are like things I can learn? And I mean, obviously, you don't learn that much, but there are things like maybe in storyboarding, you can figure out like eye line or how to like compose scenes better. But I would argue that in Splash, it's like the way you compose scenes is very different from the way you do it in storyboarding. It's just really nice also to like be able to learn both and see the difference and, you know, like apply it where you feel it is necessary. It's not necessary to apply everything you learn, but I feel like for me, it's definitely like, I think it was just really fun to learn about animation, and doing Splash was also really cool. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, it's fine. It just means you have lots of like experience and skill set under your big belt, and then you just apply it whenever the context allows
Ginormous
you
belt.
to do. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So for style and aesthetics, I think you have a strong sense of beauty in your work. Like, where do you think the desire to make things look pretty come from?
Um, well, I feel like, hmm. I mean a lot of things. I think like for me, like making art has always been like about making something beautiful or something that I find really appealing. I mean, for me specifically, I feel like the artists that I like always have like, to me at least, a strong sense of like prettiness or beauty. So I feel like it's always been a goal of mine to draw things that are really pretty and really aesthetically pleasing. Um, Me and my brother used to play a lot of gacha games, a lot of Genshin. And for us, I think like we love like talking about our favorite characters and what we like about them, or like what we like about their weapons or the way they attack, or like even like to the point of like tier listing who's our favorite. So I feel like, especially when I was making my portfolio, I always ask for like a second opinion. My brother always tells me what he thinks. My mom always tells me what she thinks. So I think that for me, it's how do I put it? I think that like I'm gonna go on another tangent here.
Oh, it's
But
fine, it's fine.
I
Like, let,
I
let, let
think
me
that
think
like
of what words you are trying to convey as well.
I'm like trying to work on what I'm thinking of as I'm thinking of it about it, but this is a very interesting question. I think that like what I have grown up doing is making art for people that don't necessarily understand art. Um, for example, like when I make art, the first people ever seeing it is my mom or my brother,
Yeah.
or like my friends. And they're not artist people, but they know what they like. So they'll be very vocal. But I think because my circle has never been artist, I've always wanted somebody who doesn't understand art to look at it and immediately resonate with it. And normally when you're like trying to draw the most anatomically accurate thing, or when you're trying to draw like a skeleton with all the bones there, like it's, at least for me, my experience growing up doing art, there weren't a lot of people that appreciated that. So I always found myself drawn to like making things that are pretty, because I feel like it has that like wow factor that everyone can appreciate. So that's always been what I was most interested in, just because of like the people around me and the type of like influence I was getting. But yeah,
So I guess
mix of both.
Genshin sort of play a part in your
Yeah.
life.
Wait, sorry, what?
Yeah, you talk about playing Genshin as well. So I guess that in a way like push you in a sense of your aesthetic sense, like because there was a period of time
Yeah.
where a lot of artists were like inspired by Genshin's art style.
For sure. I think what's really cool about Genshin is like, I mean, okay, something I've noticed with Genshin, I've always like screenshotted things from Genshin or like backgrounds, but
Hmm.
then once I like put it on my pure ref, I noticed that like the feeling isn't the same. Like if I'm screenshotting somebody like mid backflip and then I have that picture on my pure ref, it doesn't feel the same as actually playing the character and seeing like how, I don't know, how the VFX like swirl the sword or how like their attitude like before they jump and then versus in the middle of their jump in a still image doesn't really do justice to that. I mean, what I love about like art that moves is it's almost like narrative, like
Yeah.
yeah, like before a character like jumps for an attack, they're thinking about something, and then when they're mid attack, they're also thinking about something, and then when they finish the attack, they're also thinking about something. But that's not something that's told, that's something that's implied. And for Splash, it's like so hard, I guess, to capture that like natural roller coaster of emotions. You have to kind of just capture it all in one splash, which is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But um yeah, sorry, we were talking about Genshin.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
I get what you're trying to say. Like a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? And it could be like a before action, mid action, after action, just like the principles of animation.
yeah, I think that like at least for Splash, I try my best to try to capture as much as I can or as much of like the feeling as I can. Um, then like trying to go for something that is like that makes the most sense, if that makes sense.
So who's your favorite Genshin character?
Oh, Eula, for sure.
Oh yeah, I
Eula is
remember.
my
Okay.
favorite. I love girls with short hair and I love girls with big swords. And I love girls with strong personalities. Like anybody who's like defiant and if extra points if they like yell while they're like throwing stuff. It's the best thing.
Okay, mommy vibes. Yeah, I get it.
Yes, mommy vibes.
Okay. So, how can artists train themselves to make faces look appealing? Like, do you have any routines for practicing faces? I quite like how you draw faces.
Ooh, any tips? Let me think about it. I think that I definitely struggled a lot while I was starting out or making my portfolio. I mean, for many reasons. First, it's just hard to draw like a visually appealing face. And then secondly, I think like after drawing anime for so long, it was hard to like balance the realism with the stylization that I wanted. So that was definitely difficult, but I think that like what really helped me figure out my style, I used to like at least when I was making my portfolio, do like a pure rough of like every single face that I liked from whatever artist, and I would just put them like all in a collage, and then I put mine in the middle and try to figure out if it's like up to the same level, and then kind of use that, and I wouldn't like stop liquefying it or stop tweaking it until I felt like it was perfect. So I definitely spent a lot of time on the faces, maybe a little too much time, but I do feel like with Splash specifically a lot of the focus is put on the face. I mean, that's the first thing people probably look at, and that's honestly what most like elements lead to anyways, like VFX, hands, like posing. It's all meant to like complement the face. So I think putting in a lot of time is how I end up making it look nice. um I think another thing is, I think one thing that really helped me with drawing faces is not being too harsh on shadows. Like for me, when something's starting to look off, it's probably because I have like strong shadows everywhere. I tend to do like a wash over the whole thing and then kind of like start building up the shadows again to try to not let uh areas grab too much interest. Like I don't want the nose to grab a lot of interest, or I don't want like the shadow under the lip to draw a lot of interest. I mean, unless it's like intentional, but I think it's important to not get blind and take a break when you need to, but also when you're like in it to like take a step back and focus on like, okay, do I want the eyes to pop out the most? Do I want the lips to pop out the most? Do I want like a specific like hair shape to pop out the most? Like, what is the composition that I want for the face? And what are the steps I need to take to get it to that point, I guess.
Right, a lot of referencing and less harsh shadows. So, do you have any favorite artists that are good at like faces?
Ooh. I mean, Pan for sure. One of my favorite artists. And Alex. I mean, a lot of my favorite like artists are just like League artists. I mean, Bo also. I think his
Yeah,
Divine
Aurelius.
Sword Irelia. Oh my god, my favorite face in all of League of Legends. It's so pretty. Um, I think they're like I really like the way Jason Chan does faces too. I feel like they're not like what you would imagine as like a perfect face, like especially as Captain Misfortune, I think. I would never draw a face like that, and it blows my mind how well each of the features are designed. Oh, if you scroll a little bit more down, is it more down? Yeah, right there on the left. More left. More on the top corner.
Oh, okay.
This one, oh my god, my favorite. Like the way the nose is designed, the lips, the eyes, like the shapes are so intentional, I feel. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point or that level, but it's awesome for sure to
It's
look at.
okay, you're still young.
Uh, oh, my age is catching up to me. I need to train more,
Yeah,
go
everyone needs to
faster.
train more. And I remember Pan saying that Jason Chan can do almost anything. Like, he's so versatile.
Oh, I could imagine. I could imagine. This guy's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
hopefully
crazy.
in the future I have like time or the opportunity to interview like Paul, Pan, and Jason. Yeah. So I also noticed that your style evolved from like more anime influence to more stylized realism. So what was the biggest breakthrough during that transition?
Mm, I mean, as I mentioned before, I feel like I've always done like league style things or
Yeah.
like attempted to do league style things. I think the biggest breakthrough, um,
Yeah, because like for example your league, right? I mean, I noticed that
yeah.
your sketches at first look very anime stylized, like very
Mm.
gestural. And how do you balance that early looseness and charm later on with like the late stage realism and solid structure?
Ooh, I feel like I'm definitely still struggling. I think there's definitely a better way to do it than I am doing it now. But I try my best. I think that what I try to do is I tend to do like I do like a rough sketch, and my rough sketch is
Hmm.
always like very loose, and I focus more on the gesture. And then as I'm moving forward to green light, which is the stage before we get into rendering, I try to do like a tight line art. That's what I feel like has worked for me. I think that whenever I like do line art, my art tends to look less stiff. So I just try to like I try to like drag out the line art stage as long as I can. That worked really well for my Akali splash, I feel, because that one I did like a extra line art to try to figure out like the form of everything. I mean, it's a tough question because I feel like I'm still like not at the level where I want to be to like merge the two styles that I know. Um, Splash is hard, man. Like,
Yeah, it
it's
sure
like
is.
it's something that exists in like a 3D space, but it's not necessarily 3D. It's for sure like 2D, and we want to design things that look nice graphically or flat, but again, it can't lose that like cinematic feeling. So trying to like find that balance, especially coming from a 2D background is like super hard. Um, what I'm trying to do is like take more reference from like maybe 3D animations or 3D films, trying to like play more with depth and with focal ranges, which is not something that I normally do, at least when I was first starting. So it's a challenge. I mean, all I can say to that question is it's a challenge, and I'm struggling for sure.
Yeah, sometimes I notice that you post like anime style artwork. Will we get to see more of it in the future? Like,
Ooh, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, the goal is always to do more personal work, but yeah, it's been like really hard to find enjoyment from personal work. I mean, like I find a lot of enjoyment from League Slash, which sounds like really crazy and nerdy to say, but um I don't know. Like I think that like with work, it's been like a really nice level of challenging where every project, every skin I work on feels like it's part of something bigger. Like it's awesome to see like what the concept artists are doing and be excited about next splashes we're working on, and to imagine like, oh, like what if it's like this, or what if it's like posed like here, or what if I change this element to be like that. Like those moments are so exciting. And I feel like with personal work I'm just trying to like get back on in the groove of things and like enjoy it a bit more. um I hope so. I mean, I've been working on a few things, but nothing's been sticking. I feel like I have art block, but only for personal work, which is okay, but not that okay.
or at least you love your work. I think Riot will be happy to hear this.
Uh, I hope so. I mean, it's like painfully fun, and I guess personal work is not that painfully fun. It is like either fun or either painful. It's never like a good mix of both. But with work, it's like a good mix of both. And I feel like, I mean, all challenges are fun when it's like difficult, right? Or when you feel like it's slightly outside of your comfort zone.
So for your gestural drawings, I noticed that it's very energetic. There's a lot of good flowing curves. So do you have any tips on how to get better at gestural drawing, since a lot of beginners struggle with gestural drawings?
Mm, Um, I guess like if I were to go backwards and think, I did a lot of like, what do you call them? Like sandbag studies, something that old animators used to do.
Yeah.
It's not something that I did in school or whatsoever, but I remember watching like old YouTube videos or
Mm.
YouTube documentaries about what animators would do. And I remember seeing a lot of animators do these sandbag studies.
Yeah.
So I remember like in class, I would always kind of like stretch them and make them like whatever, jump or attack or like sleep. Try to make them as expressive as possible was probably really helpful for gesture. And then also for animation, we did like, what was it, like 15-second poses. That was probably really helpful for me when it comes to gesture. Um, just being able to like learn your shorthand style. Shorthand's kind of like when I guess like the, I don't know how what it is exactly, but I believe it is.
Yeah.
I
It's,
believe it is how you draw when you're drawing really fast. So
yeah. Your
you need to
shortcuts.
like learn,
Yeah.
yeah, learn how to like shorthand hands, or shorthand like a face, or shorthand like a body, and just trying to get those down really quickly and being able to capture like the essence of a person's pose. Um, capture the essence of a person's pose. Period.
15 seconds. Holy.
Yeah, 15 seconds. We used to do that like a lot in at Sheridan, and it was so hard. It was like the worst thing ever, and I used to like feel so jealous because I would look at the illustration kids and they'd be doing like 2 hours. We would never see 2 hours. That never existed. So we did 15 seconds, and yeah, I got pretty used to like drawing things really fast. And you know, I think like one thing that was really nice was when I was in class and I was looking at everybody else's like gesture, is they they don't draw exactly what the person is posing. They always try to like capture the essence of what somebody's posing. So like if they see it a certain way and it's like creating a tangent, they'll like change the arm like slightly to make it more expressive or to like create more negative space. And I feel like the artists that were able to like capture the feeling rather than exactly what they see were more successful in, I don't mean like in life, but like in class, I guess, or at doing figure drawing. So that's something I try to do when I'm looking at reference to try to like capture the feeling of the pose rather than exactly what I see. Um, yeah.
Wow, that's insightful. Yeah, but 15 seconds, holy.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, I definitely sucked. I'm not trying to say I'm a pro at this. This was so hard. My sweet spot was 2 minutes, and 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes was like the longest pose we ever did, but 2 minutes was my happy place.
Okay. Does learning makeup help you with drawing faces?
Mm, yeah, I think so. I think it's like a. I mean, it's interesting. I think I do the usual thing where I just look on Pinterest and I try to find makeup depending on like the way a champion is.
Hmm.
But I think the interesting thing about makeup is it's not only like if I think of a champion like Aurelia or like a Kali, like they do their makeup. They probably do their makeup a specific way, but I like to match it with the thematic as well. So for Porcelain Aurelia, it's really fun to like think about, okay, what is a nice like soft way that I can match the thematic but make it like still feel cohesive with the design. And I feel like I feel like there was a soft spot what do I call it? It's sweet spot.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, with like the way I did the brows or the way I did the eyes. I think something that is common in makeup is like thinking about the features as your face as like framing. Like a lot of times in makeup, people say that the eyebrows frame the face. It's something that I think about. Like I think about the face as like its separate composition. So I like to like use the hair strands to point towards the eyes, or I like to. I mean, in the original version of this Irelia, I had like a huge like chunk of her hair like floating over her face because I felt like that was so like cool and mysterious. But for product reasons, we didn't have it cover her whole face. But yeah, I think that with I think hmm
Yeah.
I think another thing with makeup that I noticed from other artists is maybe there's like a tendency to like copy and paste like makeup styles. Like if like I see a lot of people do like red eyeshadow
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, the
And I think
recent
that's very common.
Chinese wave in like 小红书 red, no, like a lot of like reddish eye makeup, like
Yes, I mean it's beautiful, but I think depending on like the champion or the thematic, I like to make things feel cohesive. Like that definitely would not work for a Kali. I mean, it would work for a Kali actually. A Kali in her base, I think she does actually have red makeup. But I think for Spirit Blossom, I wanted something that felt like ghostly, something that felt like cool and like I wanted to feel like her entire eye is like dark and you have this like piercing energy or
Yeah.
like highlight in her eye that's like darting at you. So I tried to play with like smoky eye feeling. And I remember like I actually took a lot of ref from like girl cosplayers that would cosplay as like guy characters because I definitely wanted her to have like a tomboy feel or like a more like androgynous feeling. So that was super
yeah,
fun.
strong lady warrior vibes.
I mean, I always get really excited working on like the faces of characters, especially if they're girls, because then I can do their makeup. So it's pretty fun.
So for expressions, how do you become better at it? Like, do you play with the eyebrows, or is there a specific technique?
Um, yeah, I think for expression, well, I have like my own personal taste towards expression, that I mentioned a little bit before, that came from like watching a lot of anime or doing a lot of anime. I think like the strongest emotions are not like the purest emotions. Strongest emotions for me are like when a character is like going through a jumble of like different situations. Like it could be a mix of like pride, but like soft sadness. They're happy something happened, but something like a bittersweetness that comes with their victory, like something like that. And I think those types of emotions are definitely the hardest to capture. And when you can't capture them well, it definitely looks a little confusing to the viewer. But my favorite thing is like trying my best, I guess, to capture those ambiguous feelings. Um, I think that for me, the key is to not try to not make it look like um a tutorial, I guess. Like there'll be like for example, like imagine you're drawing angry and you draw like the angry face with like the angry eyes and like a frowned face. That probably works for somebody like, I don't know, like Aatrox, right? But I think for characters that are like um more like morally gray or maybe have gone through a lot, I think it's really fun to like play with the thematic and play with like their narrative and figure out like exactly maybe what's going on in this specific scene and how they're feeling, and not even in like a they're posing this way, like how do I make them genuinely feel like passionate or genuinely feel sad. I think I had a lot of fun with that, like working on Jace. Um,
Yeah, he's conflicted so badly in Arcade.
yeah, he actually he actually looked more conflicted in the earlier versions, but we wanted him to feel like more aspirational. But I'm glad we didn't end up changing him completely because I remember fighting for that so much. Like, please, we have to make him feel like genuinely in pain because that is aspirational. Because I feel like with League, we're so attached to the feeling that a hero has to be like some vanquisher of like a big demon where they're like having this huge heroic moment and they're being celebrated by everybody. Like sometimes a very heroic person is just somebody who is able to withstand a lot or to go through a lot. And it doesn't have to come out the other way victorious, but he comes out the other way like a changed man.
Yeah, he was
You know?
so hopeful in season 1, then he went through stuff and he became so jaded in season 2.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of people can probably like resonate with that too. Like I feel like it's a feeling that isn't that well interpreted in media, maybe not media, but maybe just like in illustration. It's hard to, because essentially Splash is like almost like the branding or like the wrapping paper to like a product of like a skin or something.
Yeah.
So obviously like when you're thinking of something that has that big of an impact, it's hard to like go a little bit more experimental. But you know, I think for me at least, this is like the story of Jace. He's going through some shit in this season, so we gotta make him look that way. Yeah, so that was really fun. I mean, I
Yeah.
always try to push expression where I can. Ideally, we want to push more, but we'll see.
Yeah, I look so much in pain. Actually, I referenced your Jace for my own portrait painting
Oh,
of Jace. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Can't believe
Did
that
you
was
draw him in pain, in misery?
not to your level. But I did reference the overall face structure. Like, yeah.
Oh
I just
yeah.
do it for like, yeah, it was just like a portrait study of Jace, but the structure I did
Awesome.
try to follow yours, but the expression, nah.
I'm flattered.
Yeah. This is a really good piece.
Oh, thank you. I was surprised I struggled so much with this one.
So how do you find inspiration for your artwork? I know you probably go to Pinterest and Red Note, but are there any more inspiration?
Um, I think sometimes I like to listen to music. Maybe most times I make a playlist for my characters, but sometimes I also like to maybe connect them with a character in media that I like for a movie, or if there's an anime where I'm like, oh, this character is kind of like that, then I'll like try to rewatch whatever show that inspires me and try to like figure out the character's motivations and is that similar to what I'm trying to achieve or is that different? Where is it different? Um, Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, how do you find inspiration for your work? And you
Oh,
mentioned like creating a soundtrack for them and like trying to
yeah.
play them in your head, and, like watching the scenes again and again. Yeah, for the emotional vibes.
For sure. I mean, I say this to my team sometimes, but I feel like Splash is like kind of like you know when you're watching like an anime opening and you get like a shot of every single character doing their thing?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I feel like Splash should sometimes feel like them in their like iconic moment. So I kind of like with the music part, I like to like get into the character's head and imagine like, oh, what would their like opening title be in an anime? How do I make that like cool? What should I like what should they be doing? Or how or should they be sad? Should it be standing? Should it be sitting? And I feel like that like makes me really excited to like build almost like a universe for the character that is like obviously like within Splash but also outside of Splash, like imagining like, oh, what are they feeling, like how would like something in writing that I feel like is common is your character will become so real that they end up, or at least this is what writers say, when you're writing a character sometimes they become so real that you just put them in a scenario and you could just imagine them like what they would do in that scenario and you don't have to write it. They kind of just like act in your head and they kind of just react in your head. So I mean I try to get there with Splash. Obviously sometimes it's hard with like different characters. I know I struggled a bit with like Evelyn on that. Evelyn's a character that I get very confused about. um I think there's
Evelyn?
probably other characters too. Yeah, I think within actually my entire
Oh, okay.
catalog, Evelyn is where I struggled a little bit, where I'm like, I don't really, I don't really know how to paint her, or I don't know like what exactly makes her cool. Not that she's not cool, but like for me, as an artist and like the experiences I've had and like the things that I find beautiful, it was definitely a challenge to try to like get into that mindset of like trying to make this moment as cool and as resonant as possible. Um, yeah, but yeah, no.
So I think this boils down to the next question of, I mean, like maybe there's some overlap. So actually I wanted to ask you like how do you capture the essence of a character in your splash art, but I think it's roughly the same as before, like, get into the vibes of the character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then when you create art for different champions, I guess you have some sort of challenges because everyone is different. So are there any more ways you will overcome them? Because as you can see, like Jace is so different from Lux. And I know you talk about like getting into their vibes. Like Jace is probably a conflicted soundtrack. Lux is probably more of a peaceful soundtrack. So how do you switch moods, man? Like I'm pretty sure it's challenging, right? Like you spend one whole month on emo Jays, then you have to spend 1 month, for example, on cheerful Lux. Like,
I mean, the great thing about Splash is that it's a really long process, like 6, 7, 8 weeks maybe. And by the eighth week, you're like, man, I'm sick of this. And you're already dreaming and imagining the second Splash already. So it's pretty easy to switch. But to what you're saying, it is definitely difficult to paint something I'm not used to. I mean, that happened with Jace a little bit with like I wasn't sure how to tackle him, but I think with enough references you can kind of figure out like exactly what you do. I think what matters the most, at least to me, is trying to have like a really clear vision of what you want. The worst thing you could do is probably get into something like unprepared, like not knowing exactly what you I mean, I was gonna say exactly what you want, but I think a better way to describe it is like the quality bar you want to hit.
mm,
Um, I think that if you're not clear with like how you want your materials to look, or how you want like the VFX to look, or how you want the face to look, sometimes like at least for me, I mean, I only started doing Splash recently, and not recent, like a little bit more recent than most pros have. And I think it's really easy to like go down my comfort path and just draw like maybe draw in like a more simple way, or draw in like the way I draw my anime characters, like something that's more simple rendering, simple shading. And in order to like not go down the comfort path is to like have a very clear idea, like, okay, this is what the texture that I want, this is the vibe I want. Here I'm going to add detail, here I'm going to add rest, and I have to like actually force my brain to think that way. Otherwise, like I'll just vibe. I think that's kind of actually what happened with Evelyn a bit, where I was so clear for Irelia exactly what I wanted. Like I wanted the texture of the porcelain swords to feel this way. I wanted her armor to feel like they were made of porcelain. I wanted it to like feel multi-layered. I wanted like the scroll to be like lifting in the air and stuff like that, or the lighting to be this way. But when I got to Evelyn, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make it cool. I mean, I probably had a good reference, but I didn't like plan it as well as I should have. And that kind of led to me like getting to the end of my slash process and getting notes like, oh, we should render the material more, or like, oh, maybe we should focus on rendering this area more. And I was like kind of at my at the end of like I was kind of like, oh, what? How do I bring it to the next level? How do I like add more sparkle? It's already so sparkly.
Yes,
um,
Sparkle VFX.
yeah, so it's definitely a challenge if I'm not prepared. And I think it's like, this is a little bit of tangent also, but like it's so crazy being a professional artist. And I realized this when I was doing Evelyn, when I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like have her riding on a bull. And they're like, okay. And then it got to a point where I had to paint a bull, and I realized I've never painted a bull in my life.
Alright, porcelain. The porcelain series. Painting
Yeah,
material
porcelain, I had to do a
rendering.
bull. But also for Evelyn, if you go to Evelyn, she's actually riding on a bull, and it's the most probably I mean, it's made of like material, so I didn't
Yeah.
have to be too accurate. But it's probably it's like the smallest. First of all, the smallest bull you've ever seen, but the most anatomically wrong bull you've ever seen. I was just like, never again will I draw a thumbnail that I cannot paint. So, yeah, you live and you learn.
So I noticed that you jump some, especially for some of the process videos, you quickly jump to color. So are you more of a color person, or are you more of a grayscale to color person?
Ooh, I almost never do grayscale to color. I did that a little bit for Akali, because I was kind of like, I mean, I think I always try to work on my process. So for that one, I tried to do more grayscale to color. Yeah, for sure, more of a color person. I don't really do, what's it called? Like color comps. I remember
Yeah.
I did them when I was doing my first splash for West Studio for Jace. But and I did it for, I think, Master Yi and Sivir too. But once I got to the splash team, I'm just like, let me not do that. Let me just pick the colors and I'll just roll with it. I mean, it has its pros and its cons, but I think for me, like, when I see a skin concept, I feel like I'm so sure, or maybe in a stubborn way. Maybe it's in a not good way. Who knows? But I feel like I'm so sure of like exactly the mood or exactly the vibe I want it to be. And oh, I didn't paint it completely grayscale. I thought I did. But I think that like with this specificness, when I put down colors, I kind of like see it in my head and then I adjust it as I go. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think painting from grayscale to color has been crazy. I don't know how people do that. I started like traditional painting
Yeah.
for doing color pencils and acrylic. So I think that I think it was just more natural to me to like paint with color rather than painting grayscale.
Yeah, it's just that when I'm teaching students foundation, like most of them still prefer to paint color straight away, but sometimes because they paint color straight away, they sort of lost the depth in their
Oh yeah.
paintings because maybe their fundamentals are not there yet. So that's why like maybe that's why some teachers they teach grayscale first because for grayscale you just focus more on depth. So but I can't force my students to to go to the grayscale method because they think it's complicated. So that's why I'm asking that question. Like, yeah. So if you paint in colors, like, how do you control the depth? Like, because sometimes they got lost and the depth is missing. And I noticed, like, for example, when I watched Riot artists paint, I noticed in the color section they go diagonally, right? Where they go for darker color, or there's an inverse C curve, which is what I've been observing for your video. So is there like sequential steps on how you could control your colors?
Um, for me, I kind of paint it how I would like, and then if it's going too crazy or out of hand, or I feel like it's too saturated, I like to use the saturation layer. Actually, I use the
Right, right.
saturation layer, and I like paint like a gray, like a really soft gray over everything, and then try to like pull out the parts that I want to be as hotspots with like by erasing the gray layer, and then I like color dodge whatever I feel like I want to pull forward. I do with like luminosity layers too. If I feel like it's getting too detailed, I'll use the luminosity layer a lot, and I'll like brush over it to kind of like clamp some of the values to make sure uh, things make more sense. I think that like, I mean, grayscale can help for sure. I think where I'm confused the most is like how you start bringing in color and how to not make it look muddy.
Yeah, that's the
I feel
most
like that's where I
challenging.
struggle
Yeah.
the most. I would if I could, to be honest.
Yeah, so when I was taking Pan's class, it talks about using overlay like maybe like 1 to 2 times or using soft light after you convert it.
Ooh.
It's like so it's not just a one step thing. There's multiple stacking. Yeah, so you
Oh, that
adjust the
makes sense.
colors to slowly, gradually increase the saturation gradually to make things look more juicy. Yeah,
Oh, it's so smart. I feel like I should get on that.
yeah,
But I feel like okay,
mm,
no, what I'm so confused about is how red is dark. How when you turn off the saturation, red is just like almost black, you
right.
know?
Because like
Like
certain
different
colors,
colors,
yeah,
yeah, different colors have different like
properties.
for some yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not even like the value. Like if I turn red to gray, like if I look on my color picker and I'm doing red, it
Mm,
doesn't show off as dark or like blackish. But then
yeah,
when I like make it grayscale, it's like so different.
yeah. Imagine
But
you
yeah, yeah,
put
sorry.
imagine you put red, blue, and yellow together, and you know red and blue is like a darker color, yellow is like a vibrant color, and imagine you set the grayscale relationship right and you convert it to color, and things just go out of hand.
Yeah, I know. That's my fear, but I'm sure there's a workaround.
Yeah, so
I'm sure
to
you know
yeah.
the workaround.
Well, you can ask Pen whenever he comes by.
Oh yeah.
So today I learned
Pull them
something from
aside.
you,
So,
like
oh.
I learned the saturation layer can help you adjust saturation. So I'm guessing if I understand you correctly, it's like if it's too saturated, I just create a saturation layer and use a light gray to decrease the saturation. It's
Yeah.
you're right.
I
And
feel like
yeah.
it's helpful because it's like more, I mean, you could probably do like a adjustment layer and then
Mm,
turn down the saturation and then do a mask over. That probably works too. But for me, I like the fact that I could just like paint it on and then like erase
yeah.
it. Or if I want it to be less saturated, you could just do like a warmer
Mm.
color. Like I feel like it's more. I think both can work, but to my brain, it makes more sense.
So for luminosity, is my understanding right to say that sometimes it's too bright that you use luminosity to tone down the brightness, or does luminosity increase the brightness? Like,
Um, I think when I use luminosity, okay, so basically luminosity, it like makes everything the same value as whatever color or value you pick. So I normally use it for when my values get too busy, like like for example, like with the piece we're watching right now, like if the
mm,
hair, like right now, I feel like the hair is really busy. So I could probably like make a new layer that's like a luminosity, and I'll pick like a gray, and essentially what it does is it just clamps everything to that layer, or sorry, to that value, but while keeping the saturation. So I could keep everything that I painted, like all the different colors that I have there, but it'll just like make all the values similar. And the thing is, with the lesser opacity, it can like, it'll adjust differently, or it'll like show up differently, which is what I like about it. Like it's better. I like it better than just painting like a full on, like just a normal layer, whatever, light blue, light gray blue over it.
So let me see. So if I try it on my painting for the sake of demo.
Yeah.
So let's see. Create luminosity. So let's say for the hair, right?
Yeah.
Do I create a
Yeah, like whatever, like a gray, and then you could.
right?
Yep.
Oh, oops! Luminosity gray, about 56.
Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
And then if you turn down the opacity a little bit. Oh yeah. So I wouldn't use it over like a whole thing. I would use it like, for example, since this hair is really dark, I would use it for like, I would maybe pick like a darker color, because right now it's basically lifting the color to match the value of what you have. Yeah. So if I want to like tone down something, it essentially keeps like the saturation of what you have, so your lights remain like that color, but it's not in a way where like if you actually painted gray over it, it loses like its initial properties. But because it's a luminosity layer, it's only taking into account the value
So it keeps saturation similar.
It keeps the saturation and hue the same, but it will move the value individually. So I use this for clamping stuff, or if the face is getting too busy, I'll like eyedrop tool like the base skin layer, and I'll like do a really soft airbrush on where I want to like clamp the values. I think it's nice on like eyes. When I paint eyes, sometimes I like go too crazy on like the eyelashes or the eyeliner, and I like to like soften it up and then repaint over it.
Right. So this one helps me keep saturation and hue similar, but it changes the value. Okay.
So I would use this like very sparingly as like a restart. Yeah, like basically for my painting, almost actually exactly what you did over the eye. I would do that, and then I would lower it where I want to keep it. But for eyelashes, the way I sometimes do like a layered feeling in the eyelashes is I'll go over with the luminosity layer over the eye, and then I'll do like a second layer of eyelashes, so the ones that are like further back are like lighter, and the ones that are closer feel, yeah, like maybe, yeah. I think, yeah. And then I'll like use the darker, like I'll probably do multiply, or I could just straight up paint like the actual color of the eyelashes, and I'll try to add more depth or make the makeup less heavy. What's amazing is your piece is already so well balanced.
Yeah, I just try not to do it on other people's work, so that's why.
No.
For saturation, how do I use it again?
For saturation, it's are we on the saturation layer?
Yeah,
Yeah, so basically I'll just like go down to gray. I believe it doesn't matter what value it is.
All right.
I believe it's only the saturation.
Okay.
So like anywhere you want to tone down the saturation,
All right,
essentially.
then let me try tone down the jewel.
Oh yeah. It brings it down all the way. So what I do is I like bring down the opacity or whatever, and I adjust it to however I need it, or I could erase it where I need to. I do this actually over like large areas of the splash. So I'll like get like a super soft, super large brush. For example, if I want to like tone down some VFX or if I want to tone down the saturation on the edges of the painting, I'll like go over all of it with like a really soft brush on the saturation layer.
Oh wow, if only I learned this sooner. Okay, now
No,
holy.
you could do it with the adjustment layer too, technically. But yeah, I used this a lot while I was making my portfolio because I mean I'm not a pro at like controlling my values and controlling my saturation, so it's great to like be able to adjust things after you paint them so that you don't have to focus too much on like super planning, especially when you like you're first starting and you don't know what your splash is actually going to look like at the end. It's so nice to be able to like um adjust it as you go or as you see it manifest.
Oh. Yeah, so the saturation is similar but it changes the value, so I still need to play with opacity and fill. Oh wow. Wow, I feel like I'm a kid learning new things again. Yeah,
I'm glad it's helpful.
yeah, so I mean most artists usually stick to this and this and we are like, screw this. Yeah, like usually a lot of people are like
No,
screw this.
I
I'm like,
mean that's me with like soft light. I don't understand how soft light works, or a lot of people use linear dodge. I don't understand linear dodge.
well,
I
soft light is to gradually increase the brightness and saturation of your subject, but it also can go the other way around. So usually for like faces, the makeup, I will use soft light to gradually bring out the juiciness in a more gradual manner.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. I color dodge everything. I
yeah.
bring
For
everything to the
for
max level.
overlay and color dodge is like it quickly boosts up the saturation, but I know that you tone it down eventually. But some people prefer to gradually bring up the process. Wow, this is a good exchange.
I'm glad it's helpful.
Yeah, it's a good exchange. Okay, holy. Do you have any more tips for color? Like, I quite like your
Um,
color profile for your characters. Yeah.
ooh. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, no tips. I think it's just my personal taste, but I love things that shit, I don't know what it's called, but you know that film rule where you have like that big circle with like a big part and
Big
then a middle
circle.
part and then a small part.
Um.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But they do it
What
in
is it called?
I don't know what it's called. I forgot. But they do it in La La Land a lot where like the background is like one giant block of color and then you have like Mia's her name, right? Mia's lipstick is like the tiny pop of color, or maybe their skin is lit a certain color.
Right.
Screen cap.
Oh, screen cap. Yeah.
Screen cap. Screen cap.
You mean
Yeah.
this screen grab?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like if we look at like the way the entire scene is composed, you have like this really nice harmonious wash in the background and then you have one character with like their signature color. And that's kind of how I feel like with Splash. Obviously, if we go back to Lux,
All right.
for this one I wanted to feel like this huge wash of like pinkish white, like just like a gradual gradient where like almost the background and the flowers and like her dress feel very harmonious, and then you have these like really soft punches of like green and like blue. Actually in her in-game design she has a lot more color than what I'm painting, but I love to like desaturate and like add more maturity to people's costumes. I mean, what's hard is like in game, obviously, it's made for like players to be able to read it from like very far away. But in Splash, I don't want it to feel like too colorful or too like almost unnatural. So I like to imagine if it was made with like real materials. Like if I was looking at Lux's base like for her in game and I was creating a costume, or like I was actually planning materials or planning the metals that I would use for her, what would I use? So I like to interpret their design that way. And same with like the set dressing as well. Like I like to imagine it like, okay, what if this was a real place? What would I put? Like how do I make the character stand out? And how do I want like the colors to be balanced? And I don't know. I think for me it's just like trying to not have every single color steal the attention or steal the show, I guess. I don't want like the magenta to feel like the magenta sash that she has. I don't want that to feel super, super vibrant so that it feels like the magenta is competing with the blues. Like I want the blues to pop and I want the magentas to kind of like softly blend into the scene so it doesn't feel like too abrasive. Because obviously the mood of the scene, I want it to feel like super soft, angelic, and serene. So having multiple like magenta, if I went with like a super yellow gold, like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that actually the gold in her in game is like super yellow,
Yellow,
and
yeah.
I wanted to make it feel more like rose gold to not feel too like abrasive, and also like the crown that she's wearing or like the pin behind her hair is like super yellow in game. Just
Yeah.
like trying to like tone those down and not worry about being super 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 accurate, and try to figure out like how do I make this splash like cohesive and visually appealing, I guess.
Yeah, it makes
And I do,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, and I do that a lot with like the other splashes too. Like for Irelia, for Akali, there's like one big color theme, and I try to like pop out other things. Like for Irelia, actually, her skin is the thing that I wanted to pop out. You have the golds in like her blade, and then also her skin are like the only warm areas, I guess, out of the entire scene.
Mm.
And I mean, it's just my personal preference. That's what I like to do in Splash. I like to have one huge cohesive color. Even my whites are practically blue. Like the shadow that she's casting over the porcelain is like pretty much just blue.
Yeah, the whole
So
ambience is blue.
yeah, I love like just playing in one color and doing the few pops.
Yeah, like I really like the color profile for this. That's why I asked you about colors. Yeah, and I realize it's not easy to control like the saturation part here, where blue itself is a very saturated color.
Yeah, and yellows. Yellows,
Yeah.
trying to make the yellows not feel like too yellowy, more like in a gold color or more in like a rose gold color. I mean, there's ways to play with it. Obviously, I think I try to use like obviously the shadows and where the golds are to kind of group it and clamp it together. But also there's ways you could play with it, like the reflections. Like if you look like underneath the armor piece of where Lux is, like adding that nice pop of red to like, yeah, right there. And actually even in the back where her arm kind of goes in, like adding near like a top upper area where the shadow is, like adding those areas of like pink into areas that are like supposed to be the pop of blue in my head at least. I'm trying to like break the huge solid shape because she is wearing armor essentially, but I want the armor to feel elegant and light. I don't want it to feel like too heavy. Like if I had a super dark shape underneath where her armpit is, I feel like it would start to feel too clunky. First of all, the dark there's like a huge dark shape where her belt is. There's two huge dark shapes, one under the sash and then one behind the fan area. And then repeating that like near where the flower is on her shoulder, I felt like would compete would or not compete but maybe add to like the heaviness feeling, and especially for something so heavy like the armor on her shoulder, I want it to feel like she can run in it, that it's light, and that it is more of like a magical, not literally a magical entity, but I want it to feel like it's a magical entity. So yeah, I think just finding areas to like use color to either lighten up armor to make it feel not heavy, or using color to like add light behind the hair or add light where the sleeves are, just using it more of like a tool rather than the literal color of something, I guess. Is
Yeah.
something I like to do.
Yeah, maybe next time I could open a master class about colors and you'll be the lecturer for
Oh
it.
no. Should ask Horace for that. He's amazing at color. I use color to assist me in drawing. he
Yeah.
is he is the master of color.
Actually, I talked
Yeah.
to Horace and Terrence about last year. I had like an idea where I open up a master class. I'm not conducting it. I'm just like managing the admin, and I just invite like maybe a few artists to like give master talks. I'm still like trying to think about it. Like,
Oh
yeah,
my god, that'd be awesome, dude. That'd be so cool.
yeah, still thinking about it. Initially, I was like, let me save up. You let me, save up, and so I have money to afford the talents
Uh,
first. In case I don't know how to do marketing, I don't get enough students. At least I
oh
can
my
play the
god.
clients first. I mean, I can at least pay the talents first. Yeah.
Oh, no, I feel like some people would love to be guinea pigs for your masterclass, so.
Yeah. Hey Horace, how are you?
Please, please, please. That's how I would ask him. Please, Horace, please.
Okay,
I
I
want
learned
this.
something. I'll go to his Discord next time. Please, Horace, please.
Yeah, how can you say no at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also noticed that your strength is also VFX. So do you have
Hmm.
like a thought process when you design VFX for your pieces?
Yeah,
Like that's like a riot
hmm.
specialty. VFX.
I think, I mean, there's different components to it. There's like the literal component where VFX is like a lot of it is like shape design. Like if you understand graphic shapes, it'll
Yeah.
be a lot easier to do VFX. I mean, something that's like definitely different about League style is a lot of like fire or like magic is more anime than it is in like I guess I would compare it to like magic card art.
Mm.
Their style is maybe more realistic. If you draw fire, it like actually looks like real fire. Whereas in League style, it's like more of an interpretation of fire, or maybe like how you would see it in an animated show rather than like IRL. Um, I think that's part of it. Another part of it is, for me at least, um, I like thinking about magic. I mean, like to be more theoretical about like magic and VFX,
Yeah.
I love to think of it um, like sequentially, I guess. If you think about when have you watched Last Airbender?
You mean Avatar: The Last Airbender? You're talking
Avatar Last
about
Airbender.
you're talking about the original cartoon series or the
The original cartoon
Yeah, yeah,
series
I did
in
like
the last season when
okay.
Katara's blood bending.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, okay, the cool part about that is not like the actual blood bending. And that's what I feel like a lot of times when you're drawing Slash, that's what it is. You're showing them the cool part, but without
Yeah.
any of the context, it doesn't mean anything. What's cool about her blood bending, obviously, blood bending is very cool
Broken.
in
Yeah.
is very broken, but the fact that it's broken is slowly sprinkled or like we slowly learn more about it, why it's broken, and then we slowly like we know Katara as a person, she would not do that, but she's like brought to a point in the story where she's essentially forced to
Forced
do
to,
that, or
yeah.
she's like revealing a part of herself through doing that. And I think that's something that like maybe people who write think about more, where it's just like, how do I use magic as like a narrative tool rather than like magic for the sake of being cool? And I mean, obviously in Slash, it's like hard to do that because we're showing a single image and not necessarily, we don't have like a full 4 seasons to explain somebody's character and why doing that may be bad. But I think that it's like, for sure, it's something to think about. I mean, for Jace, obviously, you have the show, so it's a lot easier to create that narrative. But even playing with that idea that he's being corrupted by the magic that is in his hammer, I guess, or the anomaly that's in his hammer, and how that's like showing up in his arm or his armor, or how his thing is rusty, and even his like expression sharing the same mood as like the magic that he's casting. I think making the piece feel cohesive is definitely something that I like to do, like with VFX. I like the VFX to share the same mood. I feel like for Biko, I also had a lot of fun. I don't think I posted that one.
Oh, you mean
But
Biko? You mean
for
this?
Biko, yeah, for Biko, this was super fun. Just playing with like everything was super round. Everything is super, super round. I normally love to draw hair and make it like super pointy, or I like my details to be super sharp and super pointy. But for Biko, I wanted to like be very sure, very careful, I guess, not to like make anything super sharp. The honey is super round, the bees are super round. The fur, I tried to like not make any, even like the ends of the fur, I would like round them off, except for like very specific areas.
Yeah.
Like for her hat, the end of the fur is like really, really soft. Or sorry, we're talking about VFX, so I'll talk about her eyelashes. Her eyelashes, the honey, very, very soft. So I think that for VFX, trying to make the entire piece cohesive is what matters to me the most. I think maybe like the worst thing you can do is draw like a really cool character and give them very elegant VFX. Like if it's a cool character, the VFX should be very cool. It should share the same vibe. If it's a very cute character, giving them very maybe like edgy VFX. Like I feel like if it's not telling the story of your piece or the character, then I feel like it's a slight misplay. So that's something I like to think about with VFX, like the character, why they're casting their magic, how they're casting the magic, even if it's not necessarily something that people think about when they first see the splash. If I plan it, I feel like it ends up coming across better anyways. So that's what I like to do, or that's what I like to think about when I'm planning magic. I think another thing that I love to think about while planning magic is like, I'm gonna like hop back to talking about animation again, but in animation you kind of have like the moment where they're casting,
Yeah.
and the moment where they're charging up, and
Yeah.
then the moment that they're casting the ability, and then you also have like the debris. Like if they shoot a laser, you have the little like sparks that fly after you shoot the laser. And in Splash, we want to capture the hypest moment, like the moment where, like, for example, Nico is ulting. We want to capture that moment, but it's hard to express the hype of that moment if we don't have the initial build up, right? So I think something that I try my best to do is like hint at like the before, middle, and after of them doing it. So for example, I guess we could look at Akali this time.
Yep.
Yeah, as an example. So I guess for Akali, if we think about like the before, I like to think of the before as something that manifests like in the character. So like if her sleeve is slowly like disintegrating, or like if the weapon is slowly like disintegrating, like at the top right, like it's slowly like maybe some kind of rust is like falling off, or like it's falling apart, it like, I like to think of it as like the cost of magic. Like my favorite type of magic is magic that like that you have to sacrifice something for, whether it be mana or like blood magic, or like maybe magic that is painful to use for like the user. Like I like to, obviously it's hard to like show that in expression, but I like to like show it metaphorically through like how the character exists. So like I can make part of the weapon falling off, because maybe the magic is so strong that the weapon that is like holding all this magic is like falling apart, or maybe the character, like if we go back to Jace, he's getting consumed by all the magic, or I guess the arcane anomaly, and maybe that's the cost of him holding it, right? It's just so powerful that he's like, it is taking a literal toll on his character. And then obviously you have like the main source of weapon, which is like something that's very important in League Slash, like making your weapon read. So that's just a must. But then tertiary, you have like the debris. So like, how do I make it look like there are things happening as like a tertiary effect? So I like to think about it more as like it'll be like really small things. Like if you see like on his armor, there'll be like rust. And that's not something that is happening right now because he's holding the magic, but that's maybe something that happened like throughout the process of him using magic. Or like even the little like dust particles that are flying off the weapon. Like I like to think of that as not something that is directly affected or not directly like quote magic, but things that are happening because of the magic. So like the after. So I think like in a Splash having that narrative roller coaster happen without explicitly mentioning it is something that I like to think about. I mean, it's hard. Again, it's hard to do it in a Splash, and it's hard to like make it feel like it does feel in a show when you get like the whole 5 seconds or like minute or even a season.
Yeah.
But you know, trying to like add it where I can is very fun.
So from my understanding, it's like the big shapes and then understanding the whole situation in that one frame, the environment, the effects, the before effects, the after effects, the character properties, the material properties, it's like, yeah, what's exactly happening, how one thing leads to another thing, and it's all captured in one frame. I get it. It's just for Katara's blood bending, I don't see the effects, and I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say from that. So can you help me with that? Like,
yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say with the bloodbending is
yeah,
narratively there is an emotion tied with it that we feel as the audience. This character is like normally a very like nice caring character. She's primarily she's like healing people the whole time. So when we see her bloodbending, it is a shock.
Yes.
Obviously, not every character in League of Legends has that shock factor. I mean, I have to keep going back to Jace because it's like the closest similarity. But with Jace, it's like he's normally I mean, I have the privilege to like not have to do or like not have to do, but I have the privilege that there was another Splash where you could directly contrast like the before and after. So obviously it's a little easier. Oh, not this one, but like the original Arcane Jace. Yeah.
Original, the season 1, you mean?
Yeah, the season 1 Arcane Jace. So I thought
Arcane, where he was like positive and hopeful.
He's positive, he's smiling. Life is good for this guy. He just won an award, I think.
Oh,
No, exactly. So I think that like not every magic causes you to like change your character or whatever. But for Jace, it is kind of like that.
like the memes, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, this meme. So I think the connection I was trying to make is like trying to use the VFX to demonstrate the severity of the scene in his character arc and trying to use the magic to represent almost like him being corrupted as a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like sticking onto him, his armor, his gold is like fading. The rust, the effects. Yeah, the distortion. Yeah, the distortion.
The distortion. And it's also like the connection we have to Jace. I mean, even outside of Arcane, like him in League of Legends is super like confident guy, super like nothing ever goes wrong for him.
Yeah, engineer of the future.
Yeah, and then having this moment of like I mean, you could just draw like Arcane to Jace in a super heroic moment where he's like, there were moments where he's like about to, I'm not going to spoil it too much in case people haven't watched it, but there are moments where he is like being heroic, or there are like cool moments, and I could use his magic, or like I guess like paint him in a way where he's using his magic, where it's like more he's in control, because there are moments where he is in control and he's like choosing to fight against the forces of evil and he's choosing this and that. But I think that the best way to describe his character and what this arc and what this magic means is in the moment where it is corrupting him as a character, it's changing him as a character. And I feel like that was the moment I wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense
Yeah, I
to
get what you
the
mean.
connection I was trying to make.
In the story, he sees shit and he's not the same again.
Yeah, you know, I love like arcs that completely destroy like a quote perfect character. Not that Jace is like quote perfect, but like he is in his universe perceived as perfect, and like being able to like, I mean, obviously that I don't actually. There probably are ways that it could have been done better, but being like the perfect character and having that like slowly destroyed and having to like rethink what you're doing is like awesome. I love characters like that.
Wow, it's been 2 years.
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. That's crazy.
You know, I actually quite like this painting. That's why I put it in my pure ref. I know you have a video process of it, but I quite like how harmonious this painting is. Like, do you have like a process for it? I know that's a process video, but can you walk us through it?
Ooh, I think that this one's an interesting one because I do feel like it's quite different from what I typically paint. Like I either like painting super like elegant things, or I guess Jace. But I think with this one it was more lighthearted. It's one of the first like lighthearted splashes that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a challenge. And I think coming off of this, I've been like just like trying to learn as much about the slash process as possible. I think moving into this splash, I had like a very specific goal of like wanting to learn how to make my splash process smoother. So it was more of like a experimental, I guess, for me, at least in terms of process. I tried to focus a lot on like the forms and the directional lighting, which is not something that I typically do in all my splashes. I feel like all my splashes, I tend to like have different light sources or more like soft lighting or ambiguous lighting. But for this one, I wanted to practice like having a very clear light source and trying to just be very methodical about how that affects every single thing. For this one, I actually created like a list of things I wanted to accomplish in terms of like my process and like the mood and vibe I wanted to go for. I mean, obviously the mood, cheerful. I wanted to like make sure her expression stays like very like youthful and fun. So that was one of my priorities. And then second is like material difference. I think I have like a tendency to make everything like super shiny. So for this, I wanted to like be super clear. The honey is the only thing that will be super shiny. Everything else, matte and fuzzy and cute.
Yeah,
so,
sharp contrast.
And I think writing that down is super helpful. At least for me, I love like tracking things. So I'll write down like, okay, I need to make sure that as I'm painting this, that it has this vibe, or that the face has this expression, or that my painting process feels like this. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I went through it. I had like a really I set like really strict rules for myself to like try to keep the planning stage very I guess like I tried to like set rules for myself, and one of the rules was like, okay, for green light, so which is the stage between thumbnail and rendering, like the planning stage, I need to like plan out, okay, where are my rest areas?
Yeah.
Where is the light coming from? What is the perspective? What is the motion like? What are my big shapes? Like, what is the detail level? What is the highest level of detail I want? I need to make sure that I stop myself whenever I reach that point, and having that like list of things before I went into rendering. This is sorry, let me finish my sentence. Has really helped me like shorten the amount of time I need to work on a splash. And this is actually one of like the fastest splashes I've ever done. I think normally I like spend a lot of time like painting, repainting, working overtime. Nobody knows. Nobody come for
Yeah,
me.
it's one of my favorite pieces of yours besides the Lux.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, this was definitely the easiest splash I've ever done because I spent so much time planning. Instead of like over rendering, I was like, okay, I just need to do this and this and this, and then be very clear when to stop rendering. Like,
Okay.
stop rendering this, stop touching that, stop doing that. And yeah, this was
So
really
so
fun,
for
chill.
my master class, I'll invite you to talk about blending then.
You say blending?
Planning. Planning. Like
Blending?
you said planning, right? You
Oh,
said
planning.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Horus will do the
Yeah.
colors. You talk about the planning then.
Yeah, no, I am like my own coach. I'll be like, Elsie, Elsie, you did this wrong last splash. Here are things that I need to improve on. And I'll like write like a list. And I'll be like, for my next one, I'll be like motivated by trauma. I'll be like, okay, this splash, I need to work on this. And then I have
Yeah.
like three main goals. And then I try to like accomplish whatever I set out to accomplish. And I mean, every splash has its own challenges. So it's always fun to like use it as like a
Learning point.
opportunity, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Opportunity
suffering
for learning.
suffering builds character.
Ah, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, like this piece when I convert it to grayscale, the values looks very comfortable to look at as well.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I have to like give a huge shout out to Jennifer Westling. She helped me with this a lot for sure. We have like buddy, I guess a buddy system where like
Oh,
we kind of learn from like senior splash artists. And she was my buddy for this one. So I like was like, okay, Jen, here's my plan. I'm gonna do this thing, and I want to make sure that it looks like this. And she was like, okay, cool. And she kind of like helps me make sure I stay on track and like holds me accountable, I guess, for my vision and stuff like that. So she was a huge help for this one for sure.
right. So actually I have a few more questions to ask you, but do you mind if we take a break first? Yeah, I'll just
Yeah, let's
pause
do
the
it.
recording. Okay, we are back. So Elsie, for this piece, I notice it's a, let me see, it's a high key piece, and for this is a low key piece, and you can manage to do both of it. So I want to ask, like, are there any key differences between the process of high key and low key artworks?
Um, I think that with this, actually, there weren't, I was gonna say there weren't that many differences, but now I'm getting like traumatic flashbacks. I think that, I think that actually, I mean, obviously high key pieces are hard because you have to draw like every single detail. Like for a collie, there's like a lot of flowers in the background, but I don't have to draw every single one to the equal amount of detail that I do for Lux. Like if you make things fade in the background, thankfully this is the Lux one is a little, there's like a little bit of atmosphere and a little bit of mist, so I can get away with like not having to paint every single detail. But I mean, like to go back, sorry, to go back with Biko, like I can't get away with like not painting certain things. Like every single thing has to be rendered and every shadow has to be perfectly planned. For Lux, there's more of like a soft lighting, so not every shadow has to be like perfect, but I mean like closer to her face or like where her armor is, I have to pay a lot of attention to like where the light is coming from and how the certain materials or certain like elements block the light and create certain shadow shapes. Whereas with the dark one, I don't really have to think about like where the shadow shapes are too much, and I could kind of like, at least for the lower key piece, I can paint more, how do I describe it, like I guess like since I'm painting more the ambient occlusion, that's what it's called, right? The
Yeah.
ambient occlusion. Since I'm painting more the ambient occlusion, I can like create shadow shapes that kind of don't really exist. Like, for example, like in between the hairs, like there's no
Mm.
reason for the hair to actually create that much shadow since the light in the front is not that strong. But
Mm.
because it's like a darker scene, it's easier to like make that make sense or make it believable. Whereas something that's like super brightly lit, it won't be as believable if I try to hide things in shadow or try to create like really strong shapes to like hide detail, I find. So, I mean, lower key pieces are definitely easier to paint, at least for me.
Yeah, you hide everything in some sense and
You could
just
hide
showcase what you
everything.
want.
You could hide everything. You don't have to paint everything. And also, it's a lot easier to make VFX punchy and cool. For like high key pieces, it's so hard to make the magic moment pop because everything is bright. Like, thankfully for Lux, I could hide it a little bit, and it's like in a nice, like more dim area. And also, it doesn't like matter too much with this piece. But you can imagine with something that's super like action packed, there in the middle of a city, it's bright daylight, and they're shooting light lasers. Like, it's going to look a little comic booky where it doesn't feel like maybe cinematic. It's going to be hard to like create that oomph or like coolness, especially if your mood is like cool, but it's
Yeah.
super high key. Like, how do you make the effect not look goofy when it's like light on light? So, I mean, it's definitely difficult and it requires like more planning for high key pieces. I mean, I love like thumbnail stage and I love like the planning part, but the hardest thing about planning high key pieces is like not just thinking about only the composition, but thinking about like, okay, how is this pose gonna look when it's lit up? Where are the shadows gonna be, and how can I use the shadows to like emphasize the moment I want to show? Or like, how do I create a shadow so that like maybe like if the hand is glowing, that it looks like it's actually glowing because it's like maybe the background is slightly dark, or maybe it's like that specific part is like under like a bright, like a dark building, and then you can see the hand more clearly. Like, planning those things matters more in high key, I feel, than low key, because low key everything kind of works the same. If I draw a thumbnail and I don't plan the lighting, it doesn't matter too much than it does in high key. High key, if you plan wrong, it's gonna be hard to go back and figure out the plan after the fact. So yeah,
So
I feel like
low key is like where you just gradually bring out what you want to showcase. High key is like, oh, everything is bright, and now you need to know where it goes dark to bring out the balance and what to emphasize on, what not to emphasize on.
yeah, I mean it's also so easy. I mean, Lux obviously is like a little bit simpler because again there's so much atmosphere, it's
Yeah.
and smoke, that it's like I can hide a lot of things in like the value grouping. But if something has like a really strong light, it will have a really strong shadow.
Yeah.
And like if you think about how it works in real life, if it's a really large shadow and you have so many elements like different buildings or like debris in the air, each of those things has like its own sharp shadow, and then also casts its own sharp shadow.
Yeah.
So that in of itself creates so much like visual noise that is hard to group. I mean, there are ways to work around. You could artificially add atmosphere, artificially add dust, but I mean, the fact that you have to struggle through that, I feel like makes high key pieces so much more difficult.
Yeah. Too much. Everything is bright. You need to find a balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree, but I also feel like, I mean, if you're making like a student portfolio, like being able to do a high key piece and flex your muscles in that sense, if that is something you're actually good at, like super like strong value control and like understanding of light logic, it can definitely like I feel like it definitely shows like a lot of knowledge, I guess, or splash knowledge, art knowledge.
Yeah. So for those people that are more scientific, that actually believe that you start from like a darker environment because and then you start to add light in, right? So you're gradually adding light, and you know where are the occluded spots, meaning where light don't pass through, which causes shadow from a scientific point of view. And but for high key where light is all over the place, some people find it weird to paint in the shadows. Because yeah, it's like, what do you mean? This doesn't match science. What do you mean you paint in the shadows? I mean, sure. I mean, yeah. So if I think of it from a logical point of view, I think high key is harder to paint because
I
everything
agree.
is bright, everything is exposed. How do you control the exposure? Compared to where you have a low exposure, you can gradually bring things out in your control. But so that's why when a few students ask me, why can't I paint from high key to low key, I was like a bit stunned. It took me a while to like try to find out a good answer, but yeah, I'm still trying to find a good answer for them.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, what I realized is like with Hikey, you just have to be so meticulous. It's so easy to spot a mistake in Hikey versus low key. Low key, you could get away with
Yeah, let's
like
hype.
a lot of things and make it look cool. But yeah, so I mean, it's learning for sure. I understand.
Yeah, high key is where paint in shadow. Sure, that's possible, but scientifically, yeah, you're just forcing your hypothesis in. But some artists can do it. I mean, you can do it. It's just when some students ask me, I'm like stunned to this day because trying to find a good answer for them.
Yeah. I mean, for me though, it like working with color pencils ever since I was like really young, you start from like lighter color and then you start building off the shadows. So I feel like it's not like if you think of it like you're painting watercolor, for example, you do like a wash and then maybe you like if you're doing mixed media, then you could add color pencil over and add the shadows and slowly build up the shadows. And if it's getting too dark, you lift the shadows, like whether with paint or like I guess if you're talking about digital art, you can like do another wash and then add the dark spots again. Is kind of how I think about like my high key pieces. But then with low key pieces, it definitely feels like I guess, I mean, I don't know if it's similar to painting. I actually don't paint enough to know, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like purely digital. I mean, we are looking at like a huge digital light screen, so painting with light just makes sense.
Yeah, it's okay.
Whereas like the other one makes less sense, I guess.
Find out more when I interview Alsie 10 episodes later.
Yes, we'll eventually figure it out with enough
Yeah, I'll
thinking.
get back to you on episode 20 or something.
I know.
Yeah, this is like you painted this first, and you painted this, if I'm not wrong, right? And then you painted
No,
this.
I did the Lux first and
Right.
then the Kali
Yeah, then
and then
it's the third one. So it's
Ika.
like high key, low key, mid key. It's like you congratulations, Holy Trinity.
I know, all in like a span of like probably 5 months or something.
Wow, holy shit.
In a span of something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was actually. I personally am quite impressed with this piece because it looks very harmonious. But yeah, it's like, wow. So this
Oh
is mid.
wait.
I think this is mid key. You experience like high key, low key, mid key.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I guess so. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
yeah. Achievement unlocked.
I guess so. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was painful. I think from like Lux all the way to Nico was like a huge learning curve. I think for me, like I just have a tendency to keep changing what I'm painting or like a struggle with like maybe if there's like a huge ask, like for example, if like leadership wants to like change the pose or something, like I struggle to like make those changes and have like a very set like I struggle to like have a routine or like I guess like a structured way to like be able to tackle change. So I think like throughout Lux all the way to Nico, I've been trying to like build more processes where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do if this happens, and then this is my idea for the splash. Like having a very clear vision and being able to like hold on to that has been really hard. But I'm glad that Nico worked out because I feel like that was kind of like the end of that journey where I was just like trying to figure out my own process for splash and what works for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, upcoming Alsie course maybe. So I noticed you also mentioned that you have a lot of planning and thinking for this piece. Like, what exactly are the thinking planning process like that help you save so much time?
Um, Let me think. I think that when I first started Splash, I really admired like Horace and Alex, how they could like just put down paint
Yeah.
and and just like figure it out. And that's kind of like what I attempted to do with some of the first like test pieces that I did for Riot. And that that was definitely very hard for me. And I've always like, I was just like, okay, maybe I should learn to be like Bo. Maybe I can like paint things in like maybe not so painterly like Horace, but like maybe tight painting. And working through all of that, I just realized that for me, it's best to maybe focus on like what I'm naturally good at and what are my weaknesses are and try to use my strengths to help my weaknesses. And for me, it's I mean, I think this is what I'm trying to say is like it's different for everybody. Everybody has like their own workflow, whether they realize it or not, or own like superpower, what makes them strong as an individual artist. And I think where it started to click for me was when I started to like really pay attention to like what worked for me or what my strengths are. Working on thumbnail has been like always pretty simple and easy for me, like being able to come up with like nice poses or like problem solve in a 2D like anime space or anime like space has been really straightforward, and I feel like it's some of my best work like in the very like early stages. So I've been trying to honestly like use my planning or like my tracking to really
Yeah.
pay attention to that. So like maybe like every week or maybe 2 weeks I'll like be like, okay, I'll like be like, okay, I just finished the thumbnail stage, this really worked for me, or I tried something new this time, I tried adding color, this worked for me, this didn't work for me. And then I'll like kind of or like even in green light stage, like I'll be like, oh, okay, I tried to do like a tighter line art before I moved on to green light, or oh, I tried to like plan the lighting more, or oh, I tried to plan like how deep I want to render. And then I'll like kind of write how that worked almost in like a scientific way. I'll be like, okay, like this worked, this didn't work. And then after the
Right.
entire splash process, I'll like remember essentially what I was feeling during it and how I was thinking and what my plan was and what I felt like the hardest pain points were, where I'm like, okay, I really struggled with that. And then through that, I like come up with essentially like a plan for my
Right.
next splash. So essentially for Lux, I really struggled with like the changing of the poses, and I realized that that was kind of because I was tackling it from like a painting perspective. I tried to like paint the limbs in, and
Yeah.
I think that I tried to like avoid, well, I viewed it as like challenging myself, but I think that I was kind of like avoiding the line art. I mean, I want to test myself and I want to see if I could do a painterly style or fix things in a painterly way. But I don't know. I realized that just what works for me is like going back to that line art to plan or to like work on things or to like revisit things in a line art form. So for Kali, I did another tight line, or whenever I make like a change, I try to like draw it out first before I paint it.
Yeah.
And that's been working for me. And then I took that and applied it to Nico as well, which was a super smooth process. So I think it's just like, you know, like trying to be like your own a coach.
Yeah,
Like
it's
every
like
athlete
what
has their
went
coach.
wrong, what went well. Time to reflect.
Yeah. time to reflect, time to figure out. Because I don't know, the goal is always to be like the best version of yourself, you know? Like as much
Yeah.
as like as a student, you want to be like then, you want to be like exactly like your heroes or like, or copy their process or like I want to like paint like this. I want to like be like that. I think um what's actually awesome about the Slash team is they actually encourage you to like find your method or your
Mm.
process or your strengths. And I think I had a lot of room to improve in that sense because of my team. They gave me a lot of freedom to like kind of figure it out on my, not necessarily on my own. Obviously, I have the help of my team, but essentially just like lean into what makes you special rather than like change it to be like somebody else, I guess.
Yeah, I just saw this like recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Elsie's motivation video.
My motivation videos. It's been nice making motivation videos, I feel like. It's a vibe. I've
Yeah.
been trying to make more stuff that is like not super art focused, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to making personal work. It's just because I'm deprived of like self-expression, but I don't necessarily want to make personal work, so trying to express myself in other ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also brave of you to actually pull up your process videos, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. I've been so slow. I still have like Swain, Zeri that I didn't put up. Oh, so
Yeah,
much.
it's okay. You know, it's just a matter of time.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's scary to put it up because I feel like I mean, Bo puts his up, so I'm just like, oh man, I feel like my process is like it's gonna give someone a seizure compared to Bo. Like mine, I zoom in and out. I'm like lassoing, things are flipping. It's like
Yeah,
hurts
it's
your
actually
eyes.
a very brave thing, you know, because there'll always be people who will like criticize you, but there will also be a group of people that will appreciate you for putting out your process. So that's why I say it's like a very brave thing, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not easy. Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I mean it's tough, but I guess like the
Yeah.
only way forward is through. So,
Yeah, hopefully you reach 100k.
oh my God, that's so far. That's a lot of videos.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Oh my gosh. I hope to do like more, like hopefully I could do like speed paint and like talking videos explaining process. Like I would love to do that, but as you know, I feel like I get so nervous trying to like record myself. So I'm glad, so glad
I
you're
mean,
helping
yeah,
me
yeah,
with the
yeah,
first step.
yeah, yeah, doing well. It's a long
Ah.
interview. You know how to explain things. I mean,
I hope so. I mean, I think the problem with me, oh my God, we're getting so deep. I think the problem with me is like I explain things in a way that is maybe not very like logical. Like I like to explain things by trying to explain the feeling that I'm trying to capture or trying to explain it more like metaphorically rather than something that you can actually apply to your own work. So that's definitely something I struggle with, especially if I'm trying to like explain my Slash process. Like I'm not a very like technically expressive person. Like I think I don't know. I think a lot of times I paint by like feeling. I'm trying to capture a feeling and I use my colors to express like a certain mood. And I'm not
yeah.
necessarily like super calculated when it comes to like art
No, it's
things.
okay. Maybe there's something we could learn from it.
Uh,
Yeah, as
I
cliche
hope
as it
so.
sounds, like use the force, Luke. Do you watch Star Wars?
I laughed, but I didn't know. I don't watch Star Wars.
Yeah, but
I'm
you know there
sorry.
are memes. Use the force, Luke. Feel the force.
Yeah, I fear that's what I'm gonna sound like if I ever make a video. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
and
guys,
in
just
like figure
feel it.
drawing, they talk about force.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like when I tell my students, feel the force. I think I'm gonna get reported for all the Star Wars memes.
no, no. Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm gonna sound like if I ever make videos too. It's gonna sound too Like,
Use your feelings. Search your
use
feelings.
your
You know
feelings.
it's
Come on.
true.
Just feel the character's emotions.
Use the
Make the face
force.
while you're drawing. Yeah, I don't know how helpful that is. If I tell people to make the face of the character they're trying to draw.
Yeah, that's fine because in some schools where there are lecturers that are more logical, some students can vibe with the logical lecturers, but there are some students that vibe with like more demonstrations, more of the feelings, more of the vibes. Maybe you're one of those lecturers, you know. That the school needs a balance, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and then
the
Star Wars talks
balance.
about balance, balance of the force. Yeah, oh well.
Oh god. No, it's true. One can only hope. I guess the goal, I mean, I guess the only way to find out is to just do it and then see what happens, I guess. See what it turns into. But, you know, all things comes with practice, including talking.
Yeah, it's fine. So for this portrait that's been floating around in my pure rev, I quite like the brush economy. So how do you train brush economy and painting efficiency? Like this brush economy is like at its peak.
Oh, thank you. I think that I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I think that like with this piece,
Yeah.
there was a certain like stylization. I mean, I don't normally draw like this, but I think that like what I was trying to do was like a certain level of stylization, and what helps um with this is trying to for this piece, like it was a lot of like trying to find triangles in the face. Like for example, the shadow shape under the eye is like a triangle, and the shadow shape on top of the eye is also a triangle. There's triangle shadows where her hair is touching. There's a triangle shadow where like her jawline is, or even under her chin. Like I think for me, even in Slash, like I try to like carve out triangles where I can. I don't know what the
Yeah.
logic behind it is, but that's something that's always worked for me. Um, when it comes to like shorthanding like quick art, trying not to use too many like curved shapes. I like to try to find like straights as much
Yeah.
as I can, and I feel like it adds a lot of energy to the splash, or sorry, not splash, the portrait or whatever you're trying to draw as well. Like not being too complicated with like the hair shape. Like I don't want the hair to like bend 5 times before it like reaches the end, especially if it's like straight hair. Or like I don't want the brow to like move like up and then down and then up again, you know, if it's unnecessary to do so. And I think for me it's just mostly like trying to simplify the shape as much as possible in my head before trying to like draw it. I mean, what also helps is like liquefy. I think I used a lot of liquefy through this one.
So I get it. It's like use straight lines if you can't manage curves. Use shapes like triangles and liquefy. But so do you use line and colors while you, or do you do it step by step, like lines followed by colors, or it's just a mix? Like some artists they do a bit of line and then do a bit of color. Like do you do both at the same time, or are you very strict?
Oh, yeah, I for sure do both at the same time. Like
Right,
I'll
right,
for this one, I think the sketch was like probably really rough, like almost close to like a stick figure, almost expression.
right.
Like the eyebrow is just like a dot for the eyes and like a smile, and trying to figure that out. And then I do like a base mapping of like the colors. So I'll do like a very pale yellow. Like I like to start like very pastel-y, I guess, and then I build the shadows afterwards. So I do like a pastel-y like yellow and then a pastel-y skin tone, and then I'll try to like maybe if I'm like planning the hair to be a certain way, I'll do like I'll like lasso tool the face out almost, and do like a multiply brush effect, and then like airbrush like a huge like shadow where I want it to be, and then plan out the eyes. And then with the eyes, I'm normally like drawing them like line art style, but I normally do it on like the same layer. So I'll use like a brush and draw out the shape of the eye, and then like paint around it, I guess, around the line art, and then add it back in where I feel like it's necessary. um yeah, I feel
Right.
like
It's just a
it's a mix of
process
both.
of adding back and forth, like between lines, colors, lines, colors, like back and forth. Yeah, do you get what you want?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
try to, I think like with personal work, I try to think of it more like
Mm,
it's a painting
mm,
on one layer rather than like using too many layers to like separate the thingies. I
mm.
like it being moldable so that if I want to add like VF, like for this one, I added like color dodge on the hair, on the shoulder, the back of the hair, under the hair, like pretty much everywhere. So I like having it all in one layer for that reason because I like the way color dodge looks like when it's like the brush effect and not just like the layer effect. So for that reason, and also it's like more fun, I guess, to paint that way
Right.
than to like overthink it.
So I noticed in your earlier part of your art journey, you do a lot of concept art. Like, are there any tips and tricks or principles of concept art that you would like to give to the younger generation?
Oh, Um, I don't. Okay, I don't think I'm really good at concept art. I'm not gonna lie, but this stuff maybe a little bit more than concept art. Um, I remember like when I was an intern
Mm,
for Riot, I was like showing some people my portfolio to see if I could get like feedback or anything I
yeah.
could do better. And I do remember like hearing a few people actually say, "Oh, I think you would be like a much better BizDev artist than you would be a Splash artist." And I'm like, "No, I want to do Splash. I've decided this is what I want to do." But I don't know. I think for me though,
Mm,
the way I wouldn't say I'm like really good at concept art. I mean, my focus is always to make things look pretty,
yeah.
and I feel like with concept art I really admire how concept artists are able to like think so thoroughly about things
Mm,
like, oh, where does this chain come from, or like how does this like design element inform the character and where they're from. Like I don't think I think like that, at least when it comes to design. For me, I mean, I
mm,
think a little bit like that, but it's always to sell like the beauty of the piece and not necessarily like too much of the design. So
mm.
for me, I just like ended up making things pretty. That's my goal. But I guess if I were to have advice for anybody that wants to go into concept art, mm, I think your ability to create like a strong silhouette, especially if it's like league related, creating strong silhouette, global appeal is probably really important, making sure it appeals to like Western audience as well as Eastern audiences is probably important.
Right, cultural exchange.
Yeah, just a mix of both things. I can't speak too much about concept art actually. I feel like I don't know enough to speak about this topic.
Nah, it's
But
okay. Yeah.
I mostly had concept art on my portfolio just to make sure I'm covering all my bases in case
Yeah.
the slash thing doesn't work out.
Yeah. Any closing words for the audience, especially for students who wants to try to go to the art industry?
Um, yeah, let me think about that. I think like advice or like words or like what specifically you feel like.
Yeah, any closing words for the audience in general? Sorry, this
Oh,
is
I
like a
guess
sudden bomb. So like, boom.
um I think okay, wait, I do have advice. I think that one thing I realized being a student and then going into the industry right away is, especially if you're like a someone younger going into the industry or if you're like fresh out, um I think studios really appreciate somebody that has like a fresh eye on things or like
Mm,
a taste or things that you specifically like or things that like maybe make you special. So for example, if like you're really good at 3D, like lean into that. Like don't feel pressured to be like, oh, I need to be like a super omega painter because that's what like all of my art heroes are. Or like for me, like I feel like I really enjoyed drawing pretty things. And I remember being in like high school, like applying for Sheridan, and I remember a lot of like teachers or like mentors would tell me like not to draw in an anime style because people reviewing your portfolio or teachers or whatever wouldn't like it, or they wouldn't it's not like accepted, I guess. And I think even throughout Sheridan, I had like a strong urge to make things pretty. And I remember like, um, I would say like maybe some of the other students didn't really like things that were like too pretty or too perfect or too whatever. But it's something that just always stuck out to me and something that I feel like made my art special. Like I just love making things like feel beautiful. And I feel like I've always like stuck to my gut about what I want. Like I always felt like if I
Hold on.
succeeded, oh sorry, I got
Uh,
scared by the pop-up.
yeah, I don't want Windows 11. So sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No. It's just so funny. No. I feel like if I don't know. I feel like for me, if I think about like if your dreams, if you really think about it, if your dreams are inevitable, how do you want to show up to them? Like, what type of person do you want to be once you achieve it? Because in my head, there's very little point to like achieving your dreams if it means giving up your individuality, if it means giving up your style, or if it means giving up, not like, I mean, not like obviously like if your style is something very, very crazy, there is some wiggle room where you have to match like maybe what the industry wants. But I mean like your individual voice, like what your experiences, how your experiences shape you as an artist, I guess. I don't see a point in reaching the end of the finish line as like a completely different person. And I don't think any like beginner artist should feel that too. And I think actually it's very valued to have like a unique take on things, or like something specific that you really feel drawn to, I guess. So I think for like if you're starting out in the industry, understanding your strengths and understanding your weaknesses and understanding your goals is probably really important, and worth focusing on, I feel. That's my personal
Yeah, I think
advice.
what really stood to me was your statement of don't lose your individuality, right? I think that's a
Yeah.
very important statement. It's like it's the reason why you do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sometimes we focus too much on like fundamentals or the lessons or
For sure.
people's comments. We just forget why we do it in the first place. Like some people just get
Yeah.
into the industry and they're like, oh shit, what am I here for? Oh well.
What have I become?
Yeah, what have I become? That
Yeah,
sounds
no,
like
it's
Star
true.
Wars Episode 3. Oh no, what have I become?
Oh no. Yeah, no, basic. Yeah, exactly that. I feel like it's much more rewarding to fail as yourself. I mean, you actually put something on the line, you actually risk something, being yourself, showing up as yourself, and it's much more meaningful to experience challenges as you rather than as like a version you created for yourself. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I feel like, you
Yeah.
know,
Although
the
in
art journey is about.
yeah, remember your why, remember what you like, your individuality, although it might change, but there's always
You know,
the
but yeah,
yeah,
but that makes you who you are, right?
yeah,
The things that you've experienced, the things that you find enjoyable
what you
can
like.
change. Yeah.
What you want to create. Yeah. Other than the Windows pop-up, I think that was that was a cock blocker.
That
Yeah.
we no, we needed a little bit of comedic relief. It was getting a little too serious.
No, I felt that it intruded the the TED talk.
No. No. It was great. It was great. All planned.
Yeah, especially I don't know, a bit of a sensitive topic, especially with the AI wave. You will feel even more dejected. So I guess always remember your why you're doing this. Like you need
Right.
your
Yeah.
yeah.
I think something that I feel like is helping my optimism towards everything is like I like to think about it while it's all over. Like not I think they're like if I mean the how what I latch onto is just like in a world where like everyone is so like maybe AI media takes over. After all of that is already has already happened, like in the next like maybe like 5 years after that, people are gonna want to see human made things. Like there will be a point where people are just like completely sick of that stuff and they want to see your individuality and they want new artists to express themselves like authentically. And I'm like 100% sure that like even if it does like flip, that it will flip back. And I think that there will be a need for people to step up. And like if if you're not like up to the plate when that happens, or if you're like I don't know, I feel like when that time happens, or if that time happens, it's important that you don't lose sight of yourself, or you don't lose that optimism in yourself, or you don't like
Yeah, don't forget your roots.
don't forget your roots, because that's what people will latch onto in a time where everybody is like, oh my god, this is enough. Get this out of my face. Everybody's gonna want to see like the handmade movies, or like the things that are written from real people, or the art that is created from real people. I think there'll be a huge like
Yeah,
desire for authenticity. I don't know.
yeah, stay true to yourself, I guess. Remember your roots, remember your why, individuality. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. It's like 12 o'clock in Pasadena right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's a weekend, so I'm vibing. But I really appreciate having this talk, and like, and just the overall vibes you bring is very positive, very like welcoming and comfortable. I mean, as we mentioned before we started this, I feel like I get very nervous when I'm talking in front of a camera. So this, I really appreciate the vibes and how
Yeah.
nice it is.
I'll see you in, I don't know, episode 20 something.
Yeah. Down to run it back.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are ever in Singapore, let me buy you guys Chargy or something.
Oh my god, my Chaji. Oh, I can't believe we started this talk talking about Chaji and now we're full circling.
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
I'm still drinking mine. I did not finish.
yeah, if I'm still working in the same school in Singapore, I'll show you around the school and I'll bring you to
Yay.
Chargy. Yeah.
Holy, that's crazy. Oh my gosh, the mythical Chaji underneath your school. I can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be a day where I become addicted.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah.
You're lucky. It's right there.
Yeah,
You
but
have the privilege to
I'm
be
not
addicted.
I'm not drinking it every day, you know.
I would if I could. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Anyways, thanks for your time. It's getting late, so I'll end this recording. Yep. So would you like to say bye to them?
Pardon?
Would you like to say bye?
Oh yeah. Bye guys.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for listening. Follow his stuff. Subscribe, like and subscribe and comment. The huge.
Wow, free advertising. Okay.
Yeah, no problem, man.